And now, please, can we welcome to the Bavard stage the fabulous, the wonderful Claudine Ecclestone, who's going to talk to us about toast.
Hi, good evening. Hi, good evening. My name is Claudine Ecclestone. I'm here to talk to you about glutinous objects. Possibly. There will be some gluten references later on. It's about toast. Not that kind, because you're all kind of wholemeal, healthy people. You wouldn't entertain that. You're probably more that kind of toasting, aren't you? Come on. Yes, you are. But it's not about that. I'm from Jamaica. And when you're from Jamaica, you refer to it as jammed on. So I'm here to talk to you about the early history of reggae music up to about the 1980s, with minor references to toasting. What is it? What is it? See, because I can also read your mind, and I know that person over there is going, what is it? It's toasting. I rest my case. So, toasting. I did say there was going to be other glutinous stuff. Cupcakes is mentioned. Now, if you're a Jamaican in Jamaica, if you don't come from Jamaica, you come from foreign. It's really important that you know this. You're all foreigners. Now, Jamaica has got a much more longer history and connection with the Americans, not the blimpy, orange-looking one with the yellow hair. Jamaicans, we go into America to work long before slavery. Long, long, long time. Jamaicans were responsible, well, there was 80,000 Jamaicans out of 250,000 Caribbeans who helped to build the Panama Canal. Some idiot thought that that was a good kind of postcard. Because that's what it is, it's a postcard. So, there was always movement of Ja people. Jamaicans were, because of its proximity to the United States, Jamaicans used to run backwards and forwards. They were like the sort of, the fruit pickers, the ones that, you know, Brexit has already stopped, curtailed. There were lots of Jamaicans going to America, but then we got to the 50s, and America didn't like that, so they stopped numbers to a limit of about 500 a year in terms of settling. So Jamaicans only went, picked the fruit and came back. But they also had to do things while they were there. Listen to music, have a great time. They listened to music, they had a great time. Maybe they had a great time. But in the 30s, there was all this massive worldwide recession which left a lot of the Commonwealth countries in dire poverty. People came from the towns, from the cities. No, they didn't, did they? They came from the villages to the towns to find work. Now, the foreign connection, of course, would have been the British, who still lorded over Jamaica like it was their personal garden where they continued to take all the wealth. Yeah, them a loot, them a shoot, them a wheel. People were absolutely struggling. There were massive shootings of people were shot down on the street for protesting. There was no regard for human life. By 1944, they decided, you know what, I've had enough of these bloody Jamaicans. Let's give them universal suffrage. Jamaica became only the second country in the Commonwealth to get the vote for all. But Babylon, hang on, I'm going to try out my red spot. No, it doesn't work. At Babylon, the police that were still trained by the British, they hated the Rastas, and Rastas were systematically abused. But so we were saying that they would go to America, go to foreign. I can't bring that back. That's supposed to come, but that was a bit too speedy. And they were influenced by Louis Jordan and Fats Domino. And a lot of people say early Jamaican music was because they took that music and then they brought it back and they couldn't play it. I say no. Gluten reference here. Cookie, gluten, and the cupcakes. Now I don't, you see that guy there with the arrow, that's Cookie. Well, it's not, but I know that you need to know these things, so I decided that was Cookie. Right. If you listen carefully to this American band, you can hear that sort of almost the sort of rock steady vibe in there. But some people say that the real start of Jamaican reggae music was this guy, Monty.
Once there was an old lady who lived in a show.
Monty could
had so many children she didn't know what to
nursery
do.
rhyme, it sounds good.
Gave them some broth without any bread. Gave them
If
some
we did this in
send
schools,
them to bed.
how kids would learn. Of course, we all know Jamaica had calypso. I know, I had to put, sorry. Jamaica had calypso, but calypso, most of calypso you saw was a very sort of stylized, very racist depiction of the music. We had Polka Mania, which is also called revival. That was a Pokemon, that's not
Brown girl, you
but
sweet
what we
like
have is
mushroom.
Mento. And Mento
Sheila, you're
sort of
nice
lasted
like
a long time. Oh, sorry, I can't hear the
I
music
think
without
I
wanting to
off the
jiggle.
street late last night.
Mento, then we had music which is closely to sort of very African beat. And here is a sort of a religious rendition of the song I'll Fly Away Home. I'm not religious. You know, so when I go past places of worship, they burst into flame, but it's just to let you know. So Nyambingi is really important because it had the one drop, which is important. If you listen to this song that you're all familiar with, you can hear that one drop of the mento, the Nyambingi with that sort of mento sound. It's taken from a holy religious text in the Bible. Stop it. Now, we're down to sound systems. Sound systems, so these guys, and it was mostly men, went to America, bought all this equipment back, bought the records back. There was strife on the street. So people there was quite a few Chinese Jamaican involved in early reggae music. There was a wealth thing, there was a colour thing, there was a shade thing, there was an employment thing. It was just very, very, very messy. Tom Wong had a hardware store, so he had a bit of money. He set up a sound system, named himself after the great Sebastian, who was a Barnum think he was a, what do you call him? High wire guy. Jamaicans like to have big names. You'll see that later. You know, they're all kings and dukes and earls. Right. So earlier on, this guy, Count
You
Machuki.
please turn to this sound. On your way up or on your way down, I want you to stop at this station for identification. I'm gonna get.
So what Count Machuki did was he got a microphone and started talking to people over the music. And I know a lot of people in this country who are not big sound system fan, when they hear a sound system and they hear the guys talking, they say, oh, can't they just shut up and play the music? Can't they just, please, just play the music? But no, you can't just play the music. I'm sorry, I had a long blonde and some white rum, so just thought I'd share that with you. Anyway, so young Machuki can't, because he's big bulger. Now, oh my God, Duke Reed in the early days, so you had Tom, and you had Duke Reed, and you had Coxone. I think Tom was the earliest, and then Duke Reed. Now, everybody was fearful of Duke Reed because he was an ex-policeman and he didn't go anywhere without a gun. I don't know what's going on in his trousers or whatever. And he was like Big Bulger. There is him with, what's his name? The big guy. Cracks. Yeah, oh, well done. Give that guy a cookie. So Duke Reed, this is him in the 50s when I was just knee-high to a gopher, winning the sound system battles. Now we call them battles, fight, murder, war, all of that, because that was a safe place, mostly, for people to get away from the strife and the poverty, put on their best clothes, come out and have a dance. I mean, they weren't always safe. Sometimes man would cut up man and gun man and all kind of things would happen. But on the whole, it was a safe space. Duke Reed, big bulger, massive bulger, hard man. Nobody messes with Duke Reed. He was able to set up his studios, and in the early days, along with the version side of records and stuff, and he had great people like Alton Ellis and all them kind of men there. Now, because Jamaican wasn't making music, didn't have the presses to begin with, it was very limited. So when you press a record, you'd have on the B-side, instead of another song, you'd have a version, and then people would buy the version, take the song, and they would then chant and sing and make up their own music over it. This guy, despite serious facial disfiguration, he was called the ugly man, King Stick. He was a legend in his time. He was with Coxon.
No matter what the people say, these sounds leads the way.
Anybody heard this before?
It's the order of the day from your boss DJ.
Nobody's heard this before?
Host it from the top.
Well, this guy, and this is in recent years, very chatty man, didn't say much. And then also on Coxstone label was this guy, King Sporty, who was credited with writing Buffalo Soldier. He ended up, I don't know what happened to the music there. Now, one of my absolute favourite back in the day was King Tubby. Now, King Tubby was an engineer at Duke Reed studio. But what he did was, instead of just making the B-side, the dub, which was instrumental, he was the inventor, if you like, of dub. Because what he did was he took the instrumental, and then he would start, like, you know, twisting and turning and lunging and bending and jiggling and all sorts of stuff. Other sound system studio guys was also somebody called Byron Lee. Mostly instrumental, people would make music on top of them. music that you would have heard but wasn't aware of. So sound system, when I was growing up, that was the thing. Singers sang over the sound system. I mean, so you got Ecclestone, you got Duke Reid, and that one on the right there is actually a British sound system, Jar Shaka, and a serious like dub player. And this is the kind of stuff that people used to shout over the music. Now, if you like the music, you say, the song's so nice, me have to play it twice. There was always singing, and the words would be twisted and turned and very lyrical, poetic. Itch it up, operator, itch it. Mean, you know, pick it up and put it back down again. When you like something, you want to play it again. And in the 70s and, early 80s, I too was a DJ in San Francisco. Like I said, we do like our names. And Jamaicans used to model themselves after famous characters. So other top DJs, people like Al Capone and Dillinger. One of my absolute favorite would have been U-Roy. And he was what we'd call a conscious DJ. He didn't deal with batties and pom-pom and titties and them kind of things. And as you can see by that, one of his latest album. And also he had wrote this, this guy here liked U-Roy so much, he fashioned himself after him. Called himself I-Roy. But U-Roy wrote this Bob Marley song, I'm a Rebel, which will be very familiar. The Bob Marley song will be probably more familiar.
Why not just get together and live in one love and one unity, you know?
Of a sort of a really good merge between that sort of sweet song and the DJ.
Now don't you be like a devil when I play the sounds gonna rebel.
Lots of credit. Now we talked about Mento. This guy is like the king of Mento, Stanley, which comes to, I'm coming to the end, one of my favourite, Big Youth, much admired by Johnny Rotten. This is him in later years. I know that picture's got issues, so I'm going to cover up the offensive part. If you hear underneath, you can hear the Mento. It's a song, and on top you can hear Big Youth, again using some serious skills. And it's all very kind of religious. Stand here all day. So anyway, so moving along. Everybody, lots of people like reggae. This is a recent thing in Hastings. If you missed it, you missed out. If you're over 40, I'm going to call you middle-aged. So middle-aged women here, DJs.
I want the fire in your place.
And there's some toast there. That is toast. And then we come into the final stages. These are people that I either performed, played, loved. Sister Nancy, Sister Carol, this one, top one, out of New York and Jamaica.
I told them no, no, it's from creation.
And DJing became kind of an art form where it wasn't just talking over the microphone, it's recorded as well. And then this woman here, who I'm going to leave you with, one of my personal favourite, and I had the honour to interview her for a newspaper that I used to publish and edit back in the days in San Francisco. If you know it, sing along. If you don't, tough. Sister Carol
No, take it easy, people. Cause you know how we roll, see? And a wally power dreadlocks. And you know I got school. Hey, tell me who can run the party like me? Hey.
Now what I love about this woman is that she's, in lots of ways our lives did collide in the 80s. We were doing very similar things.
Tell me who can run the party like me? Galang, 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 galang. From 1981, me did a ram up the session. Around the microphone, I was the only woman. Selector Alan P. vocal, me write the version. According to my state of
Right, so I'm going to love you and leave you because I'm over time.
So DJ used to talk the style of
And he's giving me like looks. I can't say I like them looks he's giving me, so I'm going to I'm going to stand here.
Me as the true champion. They love me most of all for my origination. They say that Cinderella is a
Now he told me I could have gone over, so after I just raced through this all
Fabulous, Claudine Ecclestone. That was wonderful. Thank you so much.